What's going on, everybody? This is Joe with Ultradyne USA. If you are currently building a rifle, or you have built a rifle in the past that included a chassis system, you probably realize that there are a lot of options and a lot of factors to consider. Just like choosing any component of your rifle, choosing the right rifle chassis isn't just about what looks the coolest or what all your buddies are running. It is about finding the setup that actually fits your rifle, your shooting style, and your intended use. But of course, looking good is just an added bonus. So in this video, I'm going to break down everything you should consider when choosing a rifle chassis, so that by the end of it, you will know exactly what to look for and what questions to ask before making a purchase. First, let's talk about what a rifle chassis is and why it even exists. So at its core, a chassis replaces a traditional stock and it provides a rigid, metal-based foundation for your barreled action. Compared to your traditional stocks, chassis systems typically offer increased rigidity, better ergonomics and adjustability, more modular mounting options for accessories, compatibility with larger detachable magazines, the list goes on and on. It just gives all around more in-depth customization. Because the chassis is the interface between you and your rifle, it has a huge impact on comfort, repeatability, recoil management, and your overall shooting performance. So now that we have the basic understanding of what a rifle chassis is, let's discuss a general process when searching for the right chassis. First and foremost, we want to consider action compatibility. Not all rifle actions are the same, so chassis are action specific. Whenever I say action, I'm not referring to just the brand either. A Remington Model 783 isn't going to work in a Remington Model 700 chassis, so you need to know the specific action footprint your rifle is using, or in some cases, what action it is cloned after. So for example, a Bergara action is manufactured by Bergara, but it is cloned after a Remington 700 action. And what I mean by a clone, that just means it has the same action screw spacing and bottom metal footprint as a Remington 700, so it will be compatible with Remington 700 chassis. For someone just getting into the bolt action industry, it can be quite confusing at first, so do your research, and even if you don't see compatibilities for your specific action, there may still be options out there that work if your action is cloned off something more popular. So when in doubt, make some phone calls to the action or the chassis manufacturers, and you should be able to get the answers you are looking for. So once you figure out what action inlet you need, the next step will be to determine if you need a short action or a long action. In some instances, with modern cartridge technology, like your 6.5 PRC rounds, medium action compatibility is now also a thing. So these are mainly determined by the round in which you are shooting. But in some cases, like the Tikka rifles, they have one action length, and the only thing that changes when shooting a short action or a long action is the magazine. See why it's important to do your research? So again, if you aren't sure, never be afraid to reach out to some manufacturers and get your questions answered. Generally, when building a rifle, you have a use case in mind, whether it be a rifle you will be backpacking through the mountains that you want ultra lightweight and compact, or a bench rest rifle that you want to weigh down as much as you can to get it as stable as possible. Depending on this use case, you will be able to filter out some chassis options even further. Material as well as structural design play a major role in these compatibilities. Common materials for chassis are different variants of aluminum and in some cases magnesium. Magnesium will give you the lightest weight, but it won't give you the durability of aluminum, and it'll generally cost more. Also, a chassis that is skeletonized and machined with intent to reduce as much weight as possible will be much harder to bulk up into a 25-pound rifle for PRS shooting. And finally, a one-piece constructed chassis will be more rigid and have stronger integrity than a two-piece constructed chassis, where joints are present, weak points occur. So all of these considerations loop back around to what your goal is with the specific rifle you are building. So make sure to always keep that in mind when purchasing. Now that we have determined our action compatibility and narrowed down the purpose of the chassis we are shopping for, it is time to dive into the many features a chassis could offer. Integrated Arca rail and M-LOK slots in the fore-end for easy accessory attachment, detachable AICS magazines, a pistol grip for a more ergonomic grip angle, a thumb rest to promote a straight trigger pull. The list goes on and on and on. So be sure to educate yourself on all the features rifle chassis can potentially offer, and you need to decide which ones are important to you and the type of rifle you are building. We also need to decide which rear interface you want for mounting your buttstock. If you have an existing buttstock at home that you really enjoy, you may want to cater to how that one mounts. If buying new, your options are endless, but the main two options for mounting are generally mil-spec buffer threads or a 1913 Picatinny interface. There are advantages to both options, so it mainly comes down to personal preference and fitting the style of your build that you are going for. Now moving into your buttstocks. Your buttstock contains two of the most important points of contact with the shooter, including the butt pad and the cheek rest. So choosing the right stock is very important when it comes to user comfort. Just like when choosing a chassis, there are several features a buttstock could offer. Based on the chassis rear mounting interface you decided to go with, that will already determine the mounting interface of the buttstock. So that will pretty much cut the field in half when searching for a buttstock right away. One of the main features that could be available is a folding mechanism that allows the buttstock to fold to the side of the chassis. This is useful when it comes to storage, transportation, or packing the rifle through the mountains. A folding mechanism usually adds cost and weight, so you need to make that determination if that feature is important to you. Moving back into the stock, you can also have features such as adjustable length of pull and adjustable cheek height. And these just allow further customization and are very useful when you are trying to perfectly fit the rifle to your body and shooting style. If you're a larger person, you will want to make sure there is a large enough adjustment range to fit your body, and vice versa if you're a smaller framed person. Other small features to consider include having a bag rider available if you will primarily be shooting with a rear bag on a bench, and having sling attachments if you'll be carrying this rifle often with a sling. All of these decisions come down to your personal preference and what you are looking to get out of the rifle. The final thing to consider is aesthetics. Of course, the main priority when buying a chassis is going through the list we just discussed and getting something that meets all of your requirements for performance. But you still want something that you're going to be proud of when you pull it out on the range to show off to your buddies. What that cool look is completely up to you. Some people are going to rant and rave about a streamlined, lightweight chassis, and some people are going to prefer something big and bulky. And that is completely okay, as long as you are happy with the result. So, as a quick recap, if you take nothing else away from this video, remember these few things. First, choose the correct action inlet. Second, match the weight and functionality to what you'll be using the rifle for. Third, make a list of the features and accessories that are the most important to you and look for a chassis that accommodates them. And finally, find a look that you can't wait to show off at a price you are willing to pay. Generally, after doing those things, you will narrow it down to the best option for you. At the end of the day, the right chassis should disappear when you shoot. What I mean by that is whenever you are comfortable on the rifle, the only thing you are focused on is the target and not fighting with your chassis. So a setup that allows you to be the most repeatable will give you the best results and most success down the stretch. If you found this video helpful, make sure to let us know in the comments. Also, let us know what action you are currently building on or what you have built on in the past. What was the purpose of that build and how are you enjoying it? If you want to see a full breakdown of our chassis system and what we have to offer here at Ultradyne, make sure to check out our YouTube channel or check out our full website at ultradyneusa.com. For now, that is it for this video, and we will catch you on the next one.